From the heart of Wayne County, this is Wayne Goldsboro Television, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Today is Thursday. It's the 8th of December, 2016, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Pat Garner.
Where in the world are we?
We are in the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce.
The Chamber. The Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Oh, the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce here, and we're sitting on the steps of the Chamber of Commerce inside the building.
That's correct.
All right. Okie dokie. We just left, in fact, yesterday, at Lane Tree, a big event at Lane Tree yesterday. It was the Education Forum, a Hot Topic Education Forum, and it was a very interesting forum there with Dr. Kerstetter, Dr. Dunsmore, and Dr. Walker. Those three gentlemen are the people that, if anything can be done, anything is known or know what's needed about education in Wayne County, those three gentlemen are certainly the men to go to about that. And we'll be showing that here on Channel 10 a little later on. All right, let's see what's going on here. Oh, we're at the Chamber office, and what's going on here tonight at the Chamber office?
Tonight is the annual holiday mixer. It will begin at 5:30 and end at 7, and it is located at 308 North Wim Street, and they will have music, fun, and holiday punch.
And this is the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce. They do this every year. They have their mixer each year, and it is just a tremendous amount of fun. They have everything all decorated, as you can see on the staircase here. They have the poinsettias set out, the beautiful Christmas tree over there. This is a very festive occasion here at the Chamber, and it starts what time?
5:30.
5:30, right after work tomorrow afternoon.
That's right.
Right, looking forward to that. What else do we have going on here? Anything? Oh, yeah, okay. Today is the 8th.
That is
Oh, this
Friday.
is tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Santa Stumble at beginning at 8 o'clock in downtown Goldsboro. And they'll be going all over the place downtown Goldsboro. I'm not sure exactly where you will meet, but it's easy to find out. You go to dgdc.org or downtowngoldsboro.org, or go onto their Facebook page, Downtown Goldsboro. And tomorrow night, the Santa Stumble starts at 8 p.m. That's in the evening, post-meridian. That's at 8 p.m., the Santa Stumble, dgdc.org or downtowngoldsboro.org. All righty.
What else, Wayne?
What else, Pat?
Don't forget the Christmas parades for Pikeville and Eureka is this Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Pikeville will be Saturday starting at 2, and Eureka will be Sunday starting at 3.
And there you go. There you go. Okay. Let's see now. We have today, this morning. All right. Now, if you're watching us at noon or 5:30 p.m., you missed it. But today, this morning, is the day of the Coffee with a Cop at the Krispy Kreme on East Ash Street in Goldsboro. Coffee with a Cop is, they're trying to break down the barriers between police officers and citizens served. Community residents can sit down with officers and ask questions or share what's on their mind. This is always good. This is always good. Try this. And in a short time, citizens and police officers get to know each other and discover mutual goals for their communities in which they live and serve. So you're invited to join the Goldsboro Police Department at Krispy Kreme this morning beginning at 8:30. 8:30. That's what they say in France. 8:30. And he goes all the way till 9:30. At Krispy Kreme on East Ash Street, Goldsboro, E-I-O. A 4-H chicken project. Pat, one of the guests on today's show is Erin from the Downtown Goldsboro Development Office. So what is she going to talk about today?
She actually has Jack Majingle,
Jack
which is
McJingle.
Jolly's brother,
Oh, okay.
because Jolly is out and about downtown.
Oh, yeah, he's out hiding out. Yeah.
Yes. Aaron is just letting you know about Jolly McJingle.
Mhm.
You go on downtown Goldsboro, you find the clues to find Jolly, and he is in the downtown businesses. And once you find Jolly, you take a selfie with an Elfie.
Selfie with an Elfie. Woo!
That's right. And you can earn downtown dollars.
And to find out where what Jolly McJingle is, he's in a place of business. He's always inside. He's in one business in downtown Goldsboro, and he's not in the same place twice in a row. And he's not in there more than one day at a time, right?
That's correct.
One single day, and then the next day they move him somewhere else. So if you can find Jolly McJingle, take a selfie with this Elfie, and then submit it to the downtown Goldsboro office.
That's right.
Now-
Through social media, which is like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
And Snapchat.
and Snapchat.
Now, if you want to know more about where to find Jolly, there are clues available. Where do you find clues?
On the downtown Goldsboro social media, the Facebook, the Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Okay, that's where you go to get clues to where you may find him. So good luck in the Jolly McJingle hunt. McJingle. Well, the North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program and state and local law enforcement kick off their annual holiday Booze It or Lose It enforcement campaign tomorrow. This is tomorrow, beginning at 5:30 p.m., and it'll go all through the weekend. This will begin in Hickory. State officials will announce the North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program's Booze It and Lose It enforcement campaign, which will include DOT Secretary Nick Tennyson. We just saw him
We did.
this week. The North Carolina Highway Safety Program Director Don Nail, Hickory Police Department Chief Thurman Wisnant, and Mothers Against Drunk Driving Victims Speaker Alicia Story. Now, this will cover the entire state of North Carolina. The entire state. They just happen to be meeting in Hickory. So the thing to do, keep in mind that during the holiday season, you will not, in fact, it's never a good idea to drink and drive anyway, but be assured that they're going to be out there in full force looking for drivers who are driving erratically, driving oddly, and who may be considered DUI, driving under the influence, or DWI, driving while under the influence. So be sure that number one, you're conscientious enough that you're not drinking and driving, that you're caring about your family and other motorists on the highway, and you just don't want to get caught drinking and driving. The consequences are really bad. You pay a lot of money. You will lose your license automatically. You automatically lose your license on the spot if you're caught drinking and driving. How about that? It's not worth it. Okay, there's going to be a community Christmas giveaway. And this is going to be held at 201 West Ash Street in Goldsboro, December 20th. December 20th. Starts at 9 o'clock, goes till 2 in the afternoon. Sponsored by the Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Raleigh. But this is at 201 West Ash Street. That's near George Street, between George and James. On December 20th, 9 o'clock until 2. If you have questions about this, they're going to be giving away stuff. They're going to be giving away new or gently used toys. They're going to be giving away cleaning items, food items, baby items, clothing, and shoes. 201 West Ash Street, Goldsboro, on December 20th between 9 and 2. And if you have any questions about this, you can call at 919-947-0802. 947-0802. Okay?
Okay.
We got more coming up. Let's go to our interview. That's up next on Wayne Goldsboro Television.
Greetings. Thanks for everyone for coming out tonight. My name is Marty Cheddar, the local history librarian. This program kicks off our Fall Agriculture Heritage Series. And as we were planning and thinking through this, on December 7th is the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. It was a pretty significant event nationwide. And when I do my programs, I always like to think about the Wayne County perspective, the local experience, and how people are impacted by these big international events. So, Dr. Gary Moore.
So, the biggest impact on agriculture was labor. Men went off to the war, So they left the farms. So who's going to do the farming? And this also happened at the ag colleges. I teach at NC State in the Department of Agricultural Education. We were founded in 1917. In 1918, we graduated our first graduate, and we've graduated people ever since, except we had no graduates in 1945. Because they were all off to war. And so what did we do about this? Well, Extension had a program they implemented, and you see a lot of Extension signs in the room. In 1943, so farmers were encouraged to share equipment and labor. And then we wanted to recruit migrants to come in. You know, Trump wasn't president at that point in time. So we had nearly 230,000 foreign workers from Mexico, Bahamas. You can read all those states that came to the United States to perform farm jobs. And you might say, Canada? What happens on the border of Canada and the United States? There's a lot of apple orchards in New York State, and a lot of the people would come down and help harvest apples, is what they would do. And they involved the prisoners of war and put them out farming. And here in North Carolina, we had 1,500 Italian prisoners, and they harvested peanuts. So we put them to work harvesting peanuts. Uh-huh. Yeah. So they probably had to go out and work also.
He is exactly right. And they took some of those German prisoners out to the farm to pick cotton. They said they were lousy cotton.
They weren't good at picking cotton. Well, I guess they did okay on the peanuts. So. No, the Italians worked at that. So we got farm labor from migrants. We got farm labor from prisoners of war. Where else did we get farm labor from? What now? Women? They don't know how to drive tractors. Oh, yeah.
No, but the farmers could go into town and hire some of those young people who were just sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you couldn't get a guy.
What happened back then, women and children stepped up. So you were right. Women learned to drive tractors, crop the tobacco, hoe the corn, and they went to work, and young people pitched in a major way. So let's talk about the women and children. There was a book called Since You Went Away, World War II Letters from American Women on the Home Front. And in that book, they have a whole collection of letters. And it says, I noticed on the farms, mostly the little ones with just a shack for a house, there seems to be no one but the women left to do the work. You see them taking care of cattle, etc. It makes me proud to see how the women have picked up where the men left off and are keeping the home fires burning. So the women are picking up the slack. And if we look at the data and the statistics, the Labor Information Bureau estimates that 27% of the ag workforce and 43 were women. The U.S. Women's Bureau says 22.4% of women are employed in agriculture, and that's up from 8%. The Extension Service says they put 1.5 million non-farm women in farm jobs. So there's a major push to involve women in agriculture. A lady wrote a letter to the New York Times in 1942 and says, we can drive tractors. We can milk cows. We want to join up quickly in the farm production army. We are waiting to go, but we will not wait long because there's too much to be done and we will find farms for ourselves. Let us get together and organize a women's land army. Let us get together right away. Boy, she was ready to go, wasn't she? Well, in World War I, we had something called a Women's Land Army. And it started in Great Britain, moved to Australia, then came to the United States, where women went out and worked on the farm. So in April of '43, Congress approved funds for an emergency farm labor program because we needed workers on the farm, but it included the Women's Land Army. and 3 million non-farm women in the U.S. were involved in the Women's Land Army. But we had a little problem in the South. In the South, where's the woman's place? It's in the home. We don't want her out working in the fields. And then, you know, there's sort of some racial relationship things going on. The Women's Land Army supervisor in South Carolina said in the past there's been the feeling that white women should not do farm work, but this feeling is gradually changing, and some of the best farms are now being operated by white women workers. So the rest of the United States called on. We were a little slow here in North Carolina to catch on, but you had posters like this, call to farms. Join the Women's Land Army. And then they had tractor driving schools at a lot of places to teach women how to drive the tractors. And here's some Women's Land Army workers at the top. These are some young ladies up in Michigan that are working. This is a lady in California that are working. So women went to work on the farm. At the end of the Second World War I, there was little question that women of the United States had come to the rescue of the crops. And Mary Ross recalled the remarks of her father, a North Carolina farmer who had depended upon Land Army recruits. Men may have fought to defend the land, but women toiled it. Women saved our heritage. And so we had women involved in the war here in North Carolina. Over at UNC Greensboro, that was a women's college at that point in time. So those ladies went out and worked on the farms. But we also involved the youth. In 1942 in North Carolina, FFA members were told, we need to increase the meat production. So they raised 1 million broilers, 750,000 laying hens, and the report I read said 18,000 porkers. I'm not sure what a porker is. Maybe it's a feeder pig, is what it might be. Had bred sows, dairy cattle, beef cattle, sheep. So the young boys studying agriculture increased livestock production. Also, we increased crop production on soybeans and peanuts for the oil. We used the oil in making explosives. So we needed to crank that up. And then the future farmers of America had scrap drives. And they would get out and collect paper, rubber, rags, burlap bags, scrap metal. They purchased war bonds to support the war. They had 10,000 victory gardens in 1942. And the greatest thing about the ag boys is they had shops at school. And they could repair equipment. Because what happens during the war, the tractor manufacturers converted to building tanks and trailers and other things that needed in the war effort. And so there was no one to fix the tractors. One guy driving through the South said, I can drive through a community and tell if they have an ag department because the tractors are out running. If there's no tractors out running, they don't have an ag department because the ag boys repair things. So in 1942, here in North Carolina, they repaired this many tractors, plows, wagons, and hoes and stuff like that. And they had a slogan, all out for victory. And here's some ag ed students in Hawaii planting a victory garden. So a lot of the schools were raising victory gardens. And this is the newsletter from up in Virginia. It says the state future farmers are urged to assist farm labor programs. Then it told all the different things they were doing in Virginia. And this was happening in every state. Well, let's not leave the 4-H out of here. In North Carolina, 4-H in 1942 had a big scrap drive. And they collected scrap metal, scrap paper, scrap rubber. They bought war bonds. They had a Feed the Fighter campaign in 43. And each 4-H member was challenged to grow enough food to feed a soldier for a year. That was a pretty daunting task, but they accepted that task. And here's a couple of neat things. You know, sink the Japanazis, you know, with your war bonds. So these young people were out selling war bonds and buying war bonds. Here's a sign about having scrap rubber, why we need scrap rubber out there and what we can make out of it. And then they had the 4-H would go out and have scrap drives. Bring in the scrap, get in the scrape was their little motto on the door. But they were out collecting rubbers and tires and things such as that. And some of the publicity, save rubber, check your tires now. They've got more important places to go than you do. They need the rubber. Now, millions of troops are on the move. Is your trip necessary? So, really? Oh, bringing back memories. Yes. Yeah, I've patched a few tires myself. Yeah, over time. 4-Hers in North Carolina sold old phonograph records that they no longer were listening to in order to buy ambulances for the war effort. So here's a young lady from Pasquotank who's presenting the keys to an ambulance that they had raised the money for. Blankets were made for military hospitals in Great Britain by our North Carolina 4-H members. Our 4-H members collected scrap metal, and they sold the scrap metal, and then they built 2 Liberty ships. A Liberty ship was a ship that would take supplies across the ocean to the fighters. And one was the USS Terrell, because the 4-H members in Terrell County had won a contest, so they got to name it for their county. And here they are christening it. It was built in Wilmington, and there it is going down into the ocean. After the war, it became a freight carrier for a while. Then it was finally scrapped. It was attacked by Japanese kamikaze pilots. But it survived. And then the other one was the USS Cassius Hudson. He was the first extension leader in the state. So it was named after him. So we built 2 ships. Then everybody was encouraged to have victory gardens. Not just 4-H members or FFA members. Everybody was to have victory gardens. Have a victory garden and eat what you can and can what you can't eat. And here's some North Carolina 4-H members with victory garden posters telling about their victory gardens. And then there were all types of pins for 4-H members to wear to signify that they were fighting for victory. And here's a medal won by a 4-H member about our victory garden project. So you could win medals like this. And you could see all types of signs like this. All Americans urged to grow victory gardens. Use those as ammunition. And by 1945, there were 20 million victory gardens in use. They accounted for about 40% of all vegetables consumed in the United States. So our people stepped up. And here in North Carolina, the victory gardens was valued at $68 million. And here, Superman and Batman and Robin are encouraging us to grow victory gardens. Plus Uncle Sam, whichever one rings your bell. And we not politically correct to talk about cigarettes today, but during World War II, the soldiers, they wanted cigarettes. And so there was all types of advertisements about cigarettes and what we were doing to promote that. So, they had to grow tobacco to support that. Well, so we helped to win the war with agriculture in North Carolina. After the war, the number of farms have dropped dramatically. Yet agricultural productivity has increased. On that graph we started up with, we saw the huge spike and rise. So what happened? Yeah, what happened? Boy, yeah, talk it out, figure it out here, yeah. Mechanization might have been one of the things there. That's what he was wanting to say. Okay, well, let's look at some of the things that happened after World War II. One was ag chemicals. Where did the ag chemicals come from? No, World War II. Why would we be getting ag chemicals from a war? Well, we had some type of chemicals that are pesticides. What's a pesticide do? Kills bugs. So in the World War II, we tried to develop chemicals to kill people. So, we say, okay, this is supposed to kill people. Maybe it'll kill bugs too. Yeah, it killed bugs. So there was a whole bunch of chemicals that came out of World War II, chemical warfare. Then also we had herbicides which kill plants because we wanted to kill certain plants during the war so enemies couldn't hide in those plants. So after 1945, we really didn't need a lot of labor to hoe up the ground because we had chemicals. And also we had fertilizers. The chemical anhydrous ammonia emerged after World War II. It was cheap, took little labor to apply, and our fertilizer increased 20-fold because of anhydrous ammonia. So all of those things helped. Also, we had crop hybridization going on, especially in corn. And here's the yield of corn, and you can see it just has been climbing steadily, and it's primarily because of crop hybridization. Crop hybrids in corn were developed in Connecticut, of all places, in 1919. However, they didn't show up in North Carolina until 1933. We first had hybrid corn here, but then the war sort of put all that on the side. Then after the war, we came back, we're ready to farm. And we have some of the top plant breeders in America and the world at NC State. And we've developed a whole bunch of different vegetables, crops, and trees by crossbreeding those things. Then you said mechanization. That also occurred. One time we had tractors that looked like this. We had steam tractors. It took 8 people to operate a steam tractor. You found them up in the upper Midwest. They weren't very friendly. And then we had some tractors that ran off of gasoline, but they were built like steam tractors. That doesn't work any good. So this is a breakthrough tractor. It came out in 1925. It sort of looks like the one in the picture at the earliest, but it was straddled and could go down the rows, is what it did. Farmall introduced it, but then during the war, we really couldn't put tires on it, so we had to use those types of things, those steel wheels, and they'd sort of chew up the roads, is what they would do. But once we get tractors, we can have plows, corn pickers, combines. We can hook a lot of things to the tractor. So mechanization made a big gain. Now here, this is the growth of tractors in America. In North Carolina, it was not until 1956 that tractors outnumbered mules, because we were still farming after World War II with mules. And we finally said, we need to get with the program here and have tractors. But because of the chemicals and the crop hybrids and the mechanization, the reduction in farm labor would go up every decade. We'd need fewer and fewer workers on the farm. So we don't need as much labor as we did in earlier days. Then a lot of people don't think about artificial insemination. Here's an old Jersey bull. So I don't like that idea. So I have 4 species listed here. Which one doesn't use much artificial insemination? Well, we got turkeys, our chickens, our swine. And this is data for the United States. The chickens is not a choice. Okay. Well, you don't have to have any type of breeding to have eggs, only if you want them to hatch. Well, 100% of our turkeys use artificial insemination. Their breasts plants are so big now, they can't breed. We don't artificially inseminate chickens. It's not financially feasible. 80% of all the hogs are artificially inseminated. 95% of dairy cattle are artificially inseminated. Only 5% of beef cattle. Because you get out in the western United States, they have these huge ranges, and they don't see the cattle every day, and you got to see the cattle to get them to breed. So this is an ag economist. He says, no major development has advanced agriculture more rapidly than artificial insemination. So today, most of our cattle, most of our swine, most of our turkeys are bred artificially. And this has increased milk production, feed efficiency, average daily gain, a whole bunch of things. So we always talk about plants, but animals in there. Also, in this part of the state, we have vertical integration. It has occurred before World War I. You would go to these independent feed mills. There's some pictures. So you'd go to this feed mill right here, buy your feed. Then you go to another place to buy your baby chickens. Then you go to another place and raise them. And then you'd sell them to some processor. But now we've gone to vertical integration, and one company just manages everything. And that's had an impact on agriculture. Then we have biotechnology. We're genetically engineering plants to resist herbicides. You may have heard of Roundup Ready this and Roundup Ready that. We have insect-resistant plants, especially out in the Midwest, BT corn. We've engineered fruits and vegetables to keep a longer flavor. We have some plants that now produce pharmaceuticals. We have golden rice that's increased the amount of vitamins in it. So there's great things going on. We have computers today. That's made a major impact in agriculture because they can be used for a whole bunch of applications in agriculture that if we didn't have these, we'd be back in the dark ages nearly. So let's look down the road real quick. Here's what's going to happen in the future. My projections. We're going to go to satellite farming. Now we got GPS for everything now. So we're going to have tractors that are controlled by satellites. We're going to have sensors in our tractors with all this stuff that can manage everything. Monitor yields, apply fertilizer, apply herbicides. If you look in today's tractor, that has more computer power than our first moonshot had. The average tractor today's got all this stuff in it. There's this farmer up in Maine. His hands are not on the steering wheel because it's being controlled by satellite up in the air. Every little bit every 8 inches, they drop a potato in the ground, cover it at the same depth. At the end of the row, it turns around and goes back the other way. Well, no, this is... It costs $80,000, yeah. But you're going to see more and more of them. Yeah, the National Research Council says precision technology is going to revolutionize agriculture. We're going to have more genetically modified organisms because our climate is changing. So we're going to have plants that can withstand drought, withstand cold. Right now at NC State, we've nearly got this thing solved. We have peanuts that are no longer cause allergies. We've bred them out. We're putting more iron in rice. We're putting more oil in soybeans. And the list goes on. GMOs are somewhat controversial. This guy went all over Europe saying that they're terrible. Don't plant GMOs. They'll turn you into monsters. And he made a lot of big stuff about it. He recently said, I was wrong. He studied the data and said, I made a mistake there. We're going to see a bigger increase in organic farming. It's going to continue to grow. We're going to see miniature stuff. We're going to have miniature cameras every place. You can put miniature cameras in your barns, in your farrowing houses, monitor everything that's going on your farm. Today when you go to buy a car, it's got a camera here and a camera there and a camera there, and it sees if other cars are approaching you and stuff like that. We're going to see that in farming. We're going to grow pharmaceuticals. We're going to genetically modify plants to fight whatever you might have in the future. We're going to have tractors that you don't drive. We're going to have drones scouting our crops to see if there's a disease or insects out there. They can spray ag chemicals in a certain spot. They can check your livestock fences. We're going to see that. We're going to see more agritourism with hay rides and corn mazes. So we're going to see more of that. And we're going to see water wars out west. They're going to need more water. Here we're concerned about water quality. So that's going to be a major issue in agriculture. And women will rule the world. So, you know, we talked earlier about women going to the farm and saving the farm. Women are starting businesses 9 times faster than men. The majority of new businesses are small, and this is where the growth is. At our colleges, it used to, there were more males. So this is the male line, that's the female line. In my college, our animal science department is 80% female. Our vet college is 92% female. The ag teachers that I produced 5 years ago are now more females than males. So women will rule the world, we already knew that. So what else is new?
And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us. And a quick reminder, the program airs every morning at 7 o'clock, Monday through Friday. It also airs every day at noon. It repeats at noon, then it re-repeats at 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then all those programs run over the weekend. Okay. Let's see here. What do we have? Do we have anything? Let's just go ahead and have this right here, okay? Let's talk
special?
about exactly. There's only one item that's special about today. Today is December 8th, 2016. Today is a Thursday. And today is, believe it or not, this is a little weird. Today is Pretend to be a Time Traveler Day. Now the question is, how do you know when somebody comes up to you and says, "Hi, how you doing?" How do you know this is not a time traveler? Huh? How do you know that? You don't know. It could be a time traveler, say, from the year 2525, if man was still alive. Or it could be somebody from 1965. Rock and roll, baby. Okay, but anyway, that's today. Pretend to be a time traveler day. How do you pretend that if you don't know what a time traveler does or is? Make something up. Here's today's trivia
Wayne.
question. Huh?
Like Wayne.
Like what? Here's today's trivia question. It is the holiday season, and everyone knows the story of a Christmas carol. No, not Christmas carol. Night Before Christmas. Clement Moore wrote a poem some years ago. And it all started out, it was the night before Christmas and all through the house, right? Everybody knows that story. And it talks about Santa Claus, and how Santa Claus was a mobile type person. He was able to get around with his cell phones and everything. And he was mobile through the use of reindeer, right?
Yes.
Right, reindeer. And there were 8 of them if you don't include Rudolph. So these 8 reindeer all had names, and he called out to them, right? 2 of these reindeer are named after weather phenomena. Weather phenomena. Which 2 reindeer were named after weather phenomena? There you go. That's the question. We'll have an answer for you in the next segment of the program here on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Our guest is Corporal Jason Adams of Crime Stoppers with the Crime Stoppers Report. Hey, man.
How are we doing today?
Doing fine, sir. Hope you are.
Doing well.
We're catching bad guys. With the help of the public, we can do that.
Yes.
Now, what do we have to talk about today?
Today we're going to be talking about an armed robbery that actually happened on November 30th of this year. And it was at the Family Dollar on East Ash, and it's actually between Berkeley Boulevard and Spence Avenue right there.
Oh, that's one in a shopping center there. It's back in the back, kind of.
Correct.
Yeah, behind some of those restaurants there.
Correct.
Okay.
It happened early in the morning that day. Employee was actually coming in to open up, and as she was getting out of her vehicle, approaching the business, she was approached by a black male wearing all black clothing and had a firearm, and basically took her in the store at gunpoint, forcing her in, and at that point demanded money and cigarettes. He took an undisclosed amount of money and then also some cigarettes, but then also took her cell phone and then stole her car.
Wow.
So officers responded.
Right.
And when they responded, after taking a report from her, they actually recovered her vehicle, which was a 2011 Malibu, a short time later, but it was unoccupied. So right now we're really looking for information. Anyone that may have seen someone walking in the area that may have fit that description, or that would seen someone getting dropped off possibly, or just anything that they feel that they need to report.
Jason, what time of the day was this again?
This was at almost 6 a.m. in the morning. So,
very early, still dark.
Just starting to get a little bit of dusk or daylight.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. At the Family Dollar on between Spence and Ash, kind of in the corner.
Right.
In that shopping center. I think most people know where that is. It's been there a long time.
Yes, it has. It's the 2500 block of East Ash.
Okay. All right. Behind some of the Burger King, Taco Bell, and all those others in there.
Correct.
All right. Very good. And if anybody has any information that might lead to eventually to an arrest, no matter how big or small, they call those numbers right there at the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
Right? 919-735-2255 or 919 to text 222-4230.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Sergeant Jason Adams is corporal with the Goldsboro Police Department here with our Crime Stoppers report for this week. Jason, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. We're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us on this Thursday. It is December 8th, 2016. Thank you. Oh, boy, counting down the days. Can you believe how fast this has gone? It just seems like yesterday was December 7th. It just goes so fast. City of Goldsboro and Wayne County formally inviting everyone to the 29th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Luncheon. This is the 29th annual. They've done this for 29 years. And it will be taking place at Goldsboro Raleigh District Assembly at 214 West Hooks River Road in Goldsboro. 214 West Hooks River Road. That's just off North George Street, I believe, or William, or somewhere out that way. Salem Church, out that way. Anyway, it's Monday, January 16th. You have time to buy a map and find it. Okay, Monday, January 16th, 2017. January 16th. Starts at noon. Cost is $15. And you, if you will, please RSVP no later than January 9th to attend. Okay. If you have any questions, you can call Shaiko Simpson, and she is at 919-580-4359. Ring that bell. All right.
What else?
Round two. Goldsboro Mayor's Youth Council is wrapping your gifts. This will be taking place inside Berkeley Mall beginning tomorrow at 4 p.m., going till 10 p.m. Friday, December 9th, 4 till 10. And then over the weekend, Saturday from 10 till 10, and then Sunday, December 11th, from 1 p.m. till 5 p.m. at Berkeley Mall. The Goldsboro Mayor's Youth Council will be wrapping your gifts now until Christmas. This weekend, the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Then they'll start up again next weekend, the 16th, 17th, and 18th. And then finally, the last week before Christmas, they'll start on Tuesday, go through Friday of that week, December 23rd. With hours, you'll be able to get your gift wrapped, and they'll be there. They're going to be there a long time between now and Christmas. Okay? That's at Berkeley Mall. Whoa, lots of fun. Wrap those gifts. What you got?
Frida Owen will be having a cookie exchange at the Senior Center on December the 14th at 3 o'clock in the Arts and Crafts Room. You are to bring at least 24 store-bought cookies.
Whoa, 24 store-bought cookies. That sounds good.
Yeah, tasty.
Tasty. Now, you said you like sugar cookies?
Yes,
For Christmas.
for Christmas.
Don't you like any other cookies for Christmas?
Not really. Just sugar cookies.
Sugar cookies. Okay. You know, all you have to do is hold up a cookie and you say, this is a Christmas cookie. I don't care what it is. I'll eat it. There you go. All right?
Mikey over here.
He'll eat anything. All right. So here's the answer to today's trivia question. Are we ready for that?
Go ahead.
The answer to the question for today, the trivia question for today, is that 2 of Santa's reindeers were named for weather phenomena. Which ones were they? Well, they were Donner for thunder and Blitzen for lightning. Those are 2 German words. And the Donner and Blitzen was thunder and lightning. All right? The others were named for his cousins. You know, what do you do? You know, like Cupid and Fred and Ralph. And that's going to wrap it up for today. We'll be back in here bright and early tomorrow morning at 7. And again, the show repeats at noon, then again at 5:30 p.m. So until tomorrow, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Pat Garner.
And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.